Therapadana. The Legends of the Theras. Timirapupphiya Chapter, the 7th. 81, Timirapupphiya. On Kandabhaga river's bank. I was going along the stream, when I saw the monk sitting there. The brilliant one, the unperturbed. Having pleased my heart about him, I thought in this way at that time. This crossed one will make others cross. This tame one will tame others too. The comforted one will console. The calmed one will make others calm. The freed one will set others free. The quenched one will quench others too. After reflecting in this way, then picking up a dark flower, I laid it on top of the head of Siddhartha the sage so great, pressing both my hands together, and circumambulating him. Having worshipped the teacher's feet, I departed there toward the west. A short time into my journey, a lion was then stalking me, going along a precipice. Right there I fell down and I died. In the 94 eons since, I offered that flower to him. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of Buddha Puja. In the 56th aeon hence, there were 7 men, greatly famed, will-turning kings with great power, possessors of the 7 gems, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Timirapupphiya Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Timirapupphiya Thera is finished. 82, Gatasaññaka. I went forth into homelessness, being only 7 years old, with a mind that was very clear. I then worshipped the teacher's feet. Then I tossed up into the air 7 Nagaliki flowers, for the sake of Tissa Buddha, the boundless ocean of virtues. Happy-minded, I did puja. On the road the well-gone one trod. Then I pressed my hands together, feeling well pleased by my own hands. In the 92 eons since, I did that good karma back then. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of Buddha Puja. In the 8th aeon after that, there were 3 named Agasika. They were will-turners with great strength, possessors of the 7 gems, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Gatasaññaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Gatasaññaka Thera is finished. 83, Nipanṇhājālika. Seated at the foot of a tree, I became extremely diseased. In the forest grove I attained an extremely pitiful state. Having taken pity on me, the teacher, Tissa, approached me. As I lay there dying I then pressed both my hands over my head, with a pleased heart and happy mind. Having worshipped the Sambuddha, the ultimate among beings, I passed away right on the spot. In the 92 eons since, I worshipped him, the best person. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That is the fruit of worshipping. In the 5th aeon after that, there were 5 named Mahāsika, will-turning kings with great power, possessors of the 7 gems, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Nipanṇhājālika Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Nipanṇhājālika Thera is finished. 84, Adhopupphiya. The chief follower of Sikhi was the monk known as Abhibhu. With vast powers, a 3-fold knower, he went to the Himalayas. Back then I too was living in the Himalayas, as a sage. master of boundless magic power. In a delightful ashram there, flying like a bird in the sky, I felt drawn to a mountainside, picking some flowers down below. I then came up to the mountain. Taking 7 flowers, I placed them on the top of Adhopupphiya's head. When the hero then looked forward, I departed facing the east. Having arrived at my ashram, I went up to my dwelling there. Taking ascetic's provisions, I returned to that mountainside. A python with a frightful form, and very strong, attacked me then. Remembering my former deed, I passed away right on the spot. In the 31 eons since, I offered those flowers to him. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of flower puja. The 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Adhopupphiya Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Adhopupphiya Thera is finished. 85. Rammisaññaka. On a Himalayan mountain, I was residing formerly, wearing deer leather outer robes. I dwelt upon that mountain then. I saw the golden Sambuddha, who had gone into the forest. He was like the 100-rayed sun, like a regal sal tree in bloom, having pleased my heart in the rays of Vipassana, the sage so great. Pressing hands together, squatting, I worshipped him bowing my head. In the 91 eons since, I did that good karma back then. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of perceiving rays. The 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Rammisaññaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Rammisaññaka Thera is finished. 86. Rammisaññaka, 2. On a Himalayan mountain, I was a bark-clothed ascetic. Having ascended the walkway, I was seated facing the east. Then having seen the well-gone one, Phaladāyaka, lover of altered states, on the mountain, I pressed my hands, and pleased my heart in Buddha's rays. In the 92 eons since, I obtained that perception there. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of perceiving rays. The 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Rammisaññaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Rammisaññaka Thera is finished. 87. Phaladāyaka. On a Himalayan mountain, wearing a rough deer leather robe, with fruit in hand, I saw Phaladāyaka, best victor, and gave him the fruit. That fruit which I gave to him then, with a mind that was very clear, came into being as fruit for me, transmigrating in existence. In the 92 eons since, I gave that fruit to him back then. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That is the fruit of giving fruit. The 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Phaladāyaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Phaladāyaka Thera is finished. 88. Saddasaññaka. On a Himalayan mountain, while dwelling on a mat of leaves, I pleased my heart over the sound of Phaladāyaka preaching the Dhamma. In the 92 eons since, I did that good karma back then. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That is the fruit of good karma. The 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Saddasaññaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Saddasaññaka Thera is finished. 89. Bodhisāṇakā. There was a great Bodhi festival for the Blessed One Vipassī. I attended that festival, being a person who'd renounced taking water strewn with flowers. I poured it on the Bodhi tree. Freed, he will make all of us free. Gone out, he will make us go out. In the 91 eons since I watered that Bodhi tree then, I've come to know no bad rebirth. The fruit of Bodhi perception. When 33 eons had passed, there were 8 will-turning kings, lords over men who were all then known as Udakasekana, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Bodhisāṇakā Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Bodhisāṇakā Thera is finished. 90. Padumapupphiya. I lived in a lotus forest, eating lotus flowers back then. I saw Phussa, the Sambuddha, bearing the 32 great marks, picking up a lotus flower. I tossed it up into the air. Having done this pleasing karma, I went forth into homelessness, having renounced, with self-control, over my body and my mind, and refraining from bad speech acts. I purified my livelihood. In the 92 eons since I offered that flower to him, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of Buddha Puja. There were 18 lords of the earth, all known as Padumabhasa. And in the 18th aeon hence, there were 48 such monarchs, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Padumapupphiya Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Padumapupphiya Thera is finished. The summary. Timirapupphiya, Nipanṇhājālika, Atta. 2 raises eyes, Phaladāyaka, Saddasaññaka and Savaka. Padumapupphiya and verses 56 have been detailed here. The Timirapupphiya chapter, the 9th.